Welcome to a deep dive into E.M. Forster's seminal novel, A Passage to India. This powerful work, set against the backdrop of British colonial rule, masterfully explores the complex, often fraught relationships between cultures and individuals. It's a story that challenges perceptions, probes the limits of empathy, and asks profound questions about identity, prejudice, and the very nature of understanding. Prepare to journey into the heart of colonial India and confront the enduring human quest for connection. To truly grasp A Passage to India, we must understand its historical setting, the British Raj. By the 1920s, British rule had profoundly shaped India's social, political, and economic landscape. This era was characterized by a rigid social hierarchy, a sense of British superiority, and a complex interplay of power, duty, and cultural imposition. Forster captures this atmosphere with nuance, showing both the superficial order and the underlying tensions. Our story unfolds in the fictional city of Chandrapore, a microcosm of colonial India. It's a place divided, the orderly, manicured civil lines where the British reside, and the chaotic, vibrant Indian city. We meet key characters who embody different facets of this world. Dr. Aziz, a charming but somewhat naive Indian physician, Cyril Fielding, an English schoolmaster who seeks genuine connection, and Adela Quested, a progressive Englishwoman eager to understand India beyond the colonial gaze. Adela Quested arrives in India with a desire to move beyond superficial encounters and truly understand the country and its people. She is particularly drawn to Dr. Aziz, whose warmth and intellectual curiosity initially impress her. Their early interactions are marked by a hopeful, if tentative, bridging of cultural divides. However, Adela's idealism soon clashes with the ingrained prejudices of the British community and the complexities of Indian society. Contrasting with Adela's open-mindedness is her fiancé, Ronnie Heaslip, a pragmatic magistrate who embodies the typical colonial official. Ronnie believes in maintaining order and distance, seeing any attempt at genuine Anglo-Indian friendship as naive and potentially dangerous. Meanwhile, Cyril Fielding, the schoolmaster, represents a different British perspective, one that values intellectual exchange and attempts to foster understanding, though he too is not immune to the pervasive colonial mindset. The novel deeply explores what Forster terms the Indian problem, the inherent difficulties and prejudices that plague the colonial relationship. This isn't just about political control. It's about the psychological barrier erected by the British, who often viewed Indians as fundamentally other. This mindset, fueled by a sense of racial superiority and a fear of social transgression, makes genuine empathy and connection incredibly challenging, if not impossible, for many. Central to the novel's plot and symbolism are the Marabar Caves, a series of ancient, echoing caverns outside Chandrapore. These caves are not merely a setting, they represent a profound, almost existential force. Forster describes them as a landscape of the mind, a place where the usual distinctions of self and other, reality and illusion, begin to dissolve, and where the Om sound, a sacred syllable in Hinduism, reverberates with an unsettling ambiguity. The narrative pivots dramatically with the ill-fated excursion to the Marabar Caves. During the visit, Adela Quested becomes separated from the group and experiences a terrifying ordeal. She later accuses Dr. Aziz of assaulting her. This accusation, fueled by panic, confusion, and the oppressive atmosphere of the caves, shatters the fragile trust that had begun to form and ignites a firestorm of racial tension and suspicion throughout Chandrapore. The accusation against Dr. Aziz leads to a highly charged courtroom trial, which becomes a focal point for the novel's exploration of justice, prejudice, and cultural misunderstanding. The trial exposes the deep chasm between British legal assumptions and Indian realities. Despite Fielding's efforts to defend Aziz and Adela's wavering testimony, the proceedings are heavily influenced by racial bias, revealing the systemic injustices of the colonial system. A core theme in A Passage to India is the profound difficulty of cross-cultural communication and understanding. Language, customs, and even basic assumptions differ vastly between the British and Indians. Forster illustrates how these differences, when compounded by prejudice and fear, can lead to catastrophic misunderstandings, as seen with Adela's experience. The novel suggests that true connection requires more than just proximity. It demands a willingness to truly listen and empathize. Despite the pervasive divisions, the novel also explores the human desire for connection. Cyril Fielding's friendship with Dr. Aziz is a prime example, representing a genuine attempt to bridge the cultural divide. Adela's initial idealism and Mrs. Moore's quest for spiritual unity also speak to this universal longing. However, Forster shows that these connections are fragile, constantly threatened by external pressures and internal limitations. Mrs. Moore's journey is one of profound disillusionment. Initially seeking spiritual truth and harmony, her experience, particularly her visit to the Marabar Caves, leads her to a state of existential despair. The caves' echo, the muddle, and the perceived indifference of the universe strip away her illusions. Her eventual death, though seemingly peaceful, symbolizes the crushing weight of colonial realities and the failure of easy answers to life's deepest questions. Professor Godbole, the Hindu scholar, offers a contrasting philosophical perspective. He embodies a worldview that embraces paradox, interconnectedness, and the cyclical nature of existence, often expressed through Hindu philosophy. His enigmatic pronouncements and participation in religious festivals highlight a different way of understanding the world, one that accepts the muddle not as a failure, but as an inherent part of reality, and sees a unity beneath apparent divisions. The echo of the Marabar Caves and the resulting muddle is a pervasive motif. It signifies more than just an auditory phenomenon. It represents the breakdown of clear distinctions, the confusion of identity, and the overwhelming sense that reality itself is not as solid or rational as we might believe. This echo reverberates through the characters' lives, blurring the lines between truth and falsehood, sanity and madness, and ultimately challenging their ability to navigate the world. Forster's novel serves as a subtle yet powerful critique of the British Empire. He doesn't present a direct political manifesto, but rather exposes the human cost of colonial rule through the characters' experiences. The novel highlights the inherent injustices, the psychological damage inflicted on both colonizers and colonized, and the fundamental inability of the empire to foster genuine understanding or equality. It questions the very premise of benevolent rule when it is built on such profound division. The theme of identity and belonging is central for all characters, both British and Indian. In the context of colonial India, where identities are often imposed or contested, characters grapple with who they are and where they truly belong. Are they British subjects, Indian citizens, or something else entirely? This struggle for self-definition is amplified by the cultural divisions and the search for authentic connection in a world that constantly tries to categorize and separate them. Ultimately, A Passage to India is a profound